What if the one thing holding you back isn't your skills, but your silence? The most successful people in the world aren't the smartest. They're just the ones who are willing to speak up. See, your silence is costing you so much, but you have not sat down to weigh the cost. You have not properly measured where you're losing, so you refuse to win by opening your mouth. See, your voice is your power, but you are continuing to allow fear to steal your voice. Fear is costing you opportunities, it's costing you your confidence, it's costing you your success. Are you going to allow 2025 to be like every other year where you have remained silent and seen stagnation, where you have felt depleted, where you have felt like moving forward wasn't even worth it? See, if you continue to remain silent, you will continue to lose opportunities. You will continue to see your relationships deteriorate. You will continue to see your confidence low, and it will hit an all-time low. Listen, your voice is your power. So why are you letting fear steal it from you? My name is Shaiteria Jones, and I have been where you are. I have been a person who remained silent when I should have been speaking up in my relationships, in my career, seeing myself lose opportunity after opportunity, seeing relationship after relationship deteriorate, all because I refused to position myself in the place of power by opening my mouth. See, if the most successful people in this world aren't the smartest, but they're the ones who are willing to speak up, then why would you remain silent? I want you to just take a moment and think about the successful people you know. I want you to take a moment and think about the people that other people deem as successful. They're generally not the ones who are silent and behind the scenes, but they are the ones who are speaking up. Now listen, I'm not saying you have to go around being boisterous and vocal in every avenue, in everything. But what I am saying is that you have to find a comfort level with your voice in order to take over what belongs to you, because there's somebody running your life, and that somebody is not you if you're remaining silent. There's somebody making decisions for you, and that somebody is not you if you're remaining silent. There is someone who's actually sitting in a seat of authority, in a position of leadership that belongs to you, but because you have decided to remain silent, that seat has been vacated by you. See, if a team, and I'm not really big into sports, but if a team does not show up to a game, they automatically forfeit it. Your silence is you forfeiting whatever victory could have been yours because you refused to show up. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm speaking as a person who refused time after time after time to show up because I did not feel like I had anything to offer. And I did not feel like I had anything to offer because there was this voice in my head that told me over and over and over again that nobody needs to hear what you have to say. I don't know if you're like me and you have had countless encounters with people who told you what you couldn't do, where you would never go, and what you would never have. But I am here to encourage you today that fear will no longer steal your voice. You will no longer listen to the naysaying of the people around you, but you will be positioned as a woman of impact, a woman of influence, because you were born as a leader. You were born to make impact. You were born for somebody to watch what you do and do what you've done. Listen, I am so excited about what God is going to do in your life. Listen, I'm okay. Let me, because I'm getting really excited. I am a believer in Jesus Christ. And as I share this message with you, I am going to talk about the Holy Spirit. I'm going to talk about God because that is my background. But if you don't believe, right? If you're like, hey, ma'am, I don't believe in Jesus Christ, that's fine. You can still listen to this message. This message will still have an impact on you. You can still do the homework. Because yes, I'm giving out homework at the end of this message. Or in between, somewhere in here, you're going to get some homework. You're going to get some work that you have to do in order to take yourself to the next level. Because I don't want you coming back to this channel the same. I want you to leave transformed. I want you to leave knowing that your voice matters. What you say makes an impact, and how you show up makes a difference, okay? And so there was a point in my life where remaining silent was the thing that I did. As an executive in an organization, I would sit in silence while everyone around me was speaking. They were sharing their ideas, and I had ideas, I had thoughts, but yet no one knew about them because I was silent. Nobody knew what I had to offer because I remained little. And as I look back over my career at that organization, I realized that I came in fiery, right? I came in as this person who was willing to go to bat and willing to do the thing, but I lost steam, and I lost my position of power because I refused to speak up in moments where I felt conflicted, in moments where I felt there was a lot of pressure, in moments where I felt like it just wasn't worth it to me. But what I realized was every time I stayed silent, it was costing me. It was costing me opportunities. It was costing me financially because it was preventing me from being promoted. Because here's the thing, I should have been promoted way long before I left the organization. I should have been in a director or a vice president position, but I remained in the executive position I was in because I was silent. I sat in silence because I had lost confidence in myself. See, your silence is costing you. How many missed opportunities have you experienced because you sat in silence? How many relationships have you seen deteriorate because you sat in silence? How much success have you not seen because you sat in silence? I want to challenge you to evaluate where you've been. And the reason you're going to take inventory of where you've been is because where you're going requires that of you. There is a version of you that you have yet to meet. There's this version of you that when she shows up, she lights up the room. But there's this version of you that you've grown accustomed to. She's very dull. She's dim. She doesn't really light up anything. You're uncomfortable with her, but yet you continue to show up as her. And I'm speaking from experience because I know what it's like to be a woman who shows up drab and frustrated and uncomfortable with where I am, right? I know what that's like. I know what it's like to be depressed, to feel rejected, to be dejected, but still continue to move on, dissatisfied with my current circumstances. So you are not looking at a woman who's just speaking at you, but you are looking at a woman who once was you. You're looking at a woman who was silent because of all the pain I was carrying, but yet I never addressed, right? And so I want to talk to you today about 3 things, just 3. It's costing you everything. See, silence is costing you everything, but I'm just going to hit on 3 items that silence is costing you today. Okay, I got my little notes here, so I want to make sure I stay on task, but I want to talk to you about the 3 costs of staying silent. There are 3 costs to staying silent. The first cost is missed opportunities. There are some opportunities that you will never see again, right? But because you're uncomfortable raising your hand and saying, oh, pick me, you missed out. Here's one thing that I'm very clear on as a woman is that women are less likely than men to toot their own horn. And what I mean by that is this. Women are not keeping records of their successes so that they can competently display their value. I want you to think about the last time you boldly stood up before someone and proclaimed what you were good at. You positively, emphatically were able to rattle off your strengths. You talked about your competence with confidence. I want you to think about the last time that you applied for a position without feeling like you weren't a good fit for it. Because here's what I know. See, our counterparts, men, they don't have a problem with applying for the job that they don't meet all of the qualifications for. But you lovely lady, you powerful woman, you don't apply for a job if you don't meet one of the qualifications. You say you're not fit for the position because you didn't check all the boxes. Every I wasn't dotted and every T was not crossed. And dare I say, the very reason that men apply for jobs that they are not qualified for, the reasons that they ask women out that they are not qualified to date, right? Because there are some women who are just out of their league. But they will still ask, they will still pursue, they will still be persistent because of the conversations they are having in their heads, because of the records that they are keeping of who that they say that they are. See, you, powerful woman, have not been keeping the right records. You have not been having the right conversations. You have not been looking at yourself from the right lens, from the right perspective. And in 2025, I want you to do you a favor, and I want you to have different kinds of conversations with you. I want you to keep different records for yourself. I want you to keep records that are going to define the strength in you, that's going to pull out the better version of you, that are going to bring you to a place where you never miss an opportunity again. Why? Because you're prepared for it. You're prepared with what you're going to say. You're prepared with how you're going to look. You are prepared with how you are going to think about where you're going. Because there have been times where you have missed opportunities that you would be perfect for, and somebody else is occupying that seat. I remember I missed an opportunity to have one of my programs in a school. And I missed this opportunity for two reasons. One, because I did not clearly articulate that after school programming was something that I was capable of, was something that I had the capacity for, and it was something that I'd be great at. It wasn't even in my view of something I could do, but yet my counterparts were being paid 5-figure contracts to present to children information that was not useful. And my programming was paid a 4-figure contract because I did not position myself well enough to obtain that opportunity. I'm getting paid a 4-figure contract, and I have counterparts whose content, whose curriculum is not as powerful as mine, but yet they are being paid more than me. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that that's a problem. And here's how I know that what they had to offer was not as good, right? Here's how I know, because we can all be a little biased, right? But I was talking to the principal of the school, and I would talk to her about my programming, the the compliments that teachers and counselors would give me. And one thing she said to me, she said, I know that you're good with the students. I know that what you bring, your programming, is beneficial to the students, which is why I have you here in the school. And so I was like, okay, that's awesome. And then I heard her talk about how she did not want this particular programming in her school, but yet because the money had to be spent, somebody had to get this money, the program had to come into the school. Now get this. I missed out on a 5-figure contract because I don't talk about what I could offer in after-school programming. And because the money had to be spent, it was getting divvied out either way because the money came from a grant. The grant money had to be spent or it had to be returned. And you know the organization is not giving that money back, right? So they're going to spend it. And they're going to spend it on whoever presents themselves, whoever speaks up. And so the person speaking up was not pouring at the level of excellence that I pour at, but yet they were paid more than me. Because I did not position myself well, so I missed that opportunity. How many opportunities have you missed because of your silence? Right? Like, ouch. Baby, my bank account felt that thing because my mouth refused to speak a thing. Okay. It's costing you some opportunities. That's the first cost of remaining silent. The second cost of remaining silent is lost influence. So you and I were designed to be influential. Period. Every person that walks this planet has a sphere of influence. That sphere of influence can be small or large depending on the platform, but you are influencing somebody every single day. I need you to know this. I need you to feel it. I need you to walk away from this video knowing, baby, I'm influencing somebody. I might not know who that person is. I may never see them, but somebody is influenced by what I do, by what I say, and it makes a difference, okay? So your sphere of influence, you have your personal sphere of influence. So those would be the people in your family. You have a public sphere of influence. So those would be the people at your job and the business that you run. And then you could also have an influence or a platform if you are on social media putting out content, if you are communicating at that level. You also have a public level of influence when it comes to where you volunteer or where you go to church or whatever that place is that you're showing up, right? Wherever you show up, you have the ability to be influential. And somebody's watching you. And here's how I know, baby. They watch you. They do what you do. And I'm just going to even talk about it at the home level, okay? So I have a 7-year-old and she has made me a much better person, okay? She has made me a much better person. Shout out to the moms out there who are influencing every single day, every moment of the day, right? Shout out to you. But I remember when I first found out I was pregnant with her, I asked the Lord, I said, are you sure that you want me to be someone's mother? Now, at this point, it's too late, right? I'm pregnant. I am somebody's mom at this point. But I'm having this conversation with Daddy God, and I'm asking, listen, are you absolutely sure that you want me to be a mom? Because what I understood about motherhood in this moment was that somebody's eyes were always going to be on me. And I didn't think I had what it took to be a mommy. I didn't think I was the right person for somebody to watch and model. I bless God that I was healed in that area and that I entered into a place where I appreciated the influence that I carry. I appreciate the influence and the information that I can deliver to my daughter. And I am astounded by how she has grown and just this beautiful young girl that she is growing into. But I remember one day we were walking, we were going to the park. I love to walk. And she enjoys walking as well. And so she has her baby stroller. And we got on our sunglasses because baby is sunny outside and we are cute and healthy. So we're going to put on our sunglasses to protect our eyes. And so my baby goes, Mommy, it's a lovely day out here. And I said, who's she been talking to? Who's she talking to? Where she talking about it's a lovely day? And then I remembered I was her mother. And I watch her mannerisms and the phrases that she uses. I watch the faces that she makes. And it comes from me, right? So as a mom, I want you to know that you are influencing the life of your child more than you think. Because a lot of times we're not thinking about it. We're just doing the things that we do. We're having the tones that we have. We're making the decisions that we make, not realizing that they're watching us. Another sphere of influence, I went organic, and what that means is I eat completely organic, 100%. So I have not eaten out. Well, when I say out in America, I ate out in Dubai, but they had a completely organic restaurant, and that's where I ate in Dubai. But I haven't found like an organic restaurant where I live at. And so I have not been able to eat out in my hometown since 2020, right? And I remember when I went organic, it was a huge shift for me because I had been buying organic and buying conventional food. And if you want me to do a video on why I went organic and how that process went, let me know down in the comments. But anyway, I went organic and it was a huge shift for me because I wanted to make sure that what I was consuming was right for me. And I saw a huge shift physically in my body. I saw a huge shift mentally, and I saw just the contrast between what I used to eat and what I was currently eating. And I was pleased with it. And as I went organic, you know, my family had questions like, you're going organic, why are you doing it? And as I went organic, I saw them change their shopping habits. Now, I don't have a family member aside from myself. I'm my own family. I don't have a family member who is completely organic, but I do have family who started to buy organic because I went organic, right? So that's a level of influence. Then on my job at the time, because I'm no longer there, I am self-employed as an entrepreneur. And so when I was on my job, baby, them people was watching me. They wanted to know what is Shiteria doing? What does Shiteria think? And at first I didn't understand why. Like, why y'all want to be in my business? That was the first thing I thought, like, y'all nosy. But what I realized was I had something to offer, and so they wanted to hear what I had to say. And many times, depending on the environment, I would be silent, but I had this one store, and most of the people there they looked like me. And so because they looked like me, there was a different level of vulnerability, a different level of authenticity, because I knew if I said what I said in a way I would say it, they could hear it and receive it. And so there was this one particular store where I would go in, and with some of the employees, I could be completely me. I didn't have to really mince words, but I was careful with what I said in a sense of, not being disrespectful, not, I just wouldn't do that in general, but I would remain, I would have this level of professionalism, but I could feel the weight and the burden that I had to share certain things with them in order to see them succeed in life. And so your influence is going to show up when you show up, but you have to say yes or no to whether or not you're going to be the person of influence that you are meant to be. And your influence leads to the impact that you are going to make. I now go into one of the stores I used to be the district manager over, and the employees that I hired while I was there, or who interacted with me while I was there. One in particular, she tells me, I talked to my mom about you. Shiteria, you were a huge influence and a huge impact in my life. And I am forever grateful for what you did for me, for how you taught me, for how you showed up for me. And I didn't know that in the moment. It wasn't until after I was gone that I heard those words and saw how much how I showed up mattered to someone, right? And so you are carrying this level of influence, you're carrying this level of impact. But I just didn't have influence and impact with people that I looked like. I received a message from a manager who I didn't look like. And he said, I regret that it has taken me this long to say this to you, but you have really impacted me as a leader. You have changed the way that I show up operationally, and this company benefits from what you have done for me. See, it wasn't always smooth and it wasn't always fun, but the impact that you had on me, the way that you helped to shape and mold me, has changed the way I lead, and I'm forever grateful for that. And as I listen to their testimonies, as I listen to their stories about how I showed up made a difference, I realized, baby, I can never not show up. Even when it feels like showing up is difficult, even when it feels rough and uncomfortable, my showing up matters, because somebody's going to get a deposit. Somebody's going to get something that they can withdraw from in the future. And your refusal to speak, your refusal to be authentically you, your refusal to show up in your brilliance is blocking the very blessing that was meant for you. But it's not just blocking the blessing that was meant for you, it's blocking the blessing for the person who needs to glean from you. Because your influence isn't just for you. Your influence isn't for you at all. It's not for you at all, but it's for the person who's going to eat from you. And when I say eat from you, I mean the person who's going to be nourished by your words, the person who's going to be nourished by your actions, because when you show up, you are producing an environment of nourishment or detriment, because you could be making very poisonous deposits if you're not careful with the words that you speak, if you're overly critical, if you are just showing up nasty. And I have shown up nasty. I have shown up overly critical. I have shown up as somebody who was depleting the very place I should have been depositing in, because I was not clear on how to really navigate from being silent to being a person who could fully articulate and communicate effectively in order to get the best out of my team. And so I was not seeing the relational return that I should have seen. I was not seeing the financial return that I should have seen. I was not seeing the career progression that I should have seen, because I was not showing up fully as me. And I was being silent when I should have been speaking. Okay. So it's costing you, right? We talked about those missed opportunities. We saw my bank account drizzle, right? Because I refused to speak. Then we talked about the lost influence, right? You are losing opportunities to influence people when you remain silent. The last one is a lack of confidence. Every time you stay silent, when you have something of value to offer, you're depleting your confidence. Because what you are telling you is you aren't valuable. I'm going to say that again. Every time you remain silent when you should be speaking up, you are telling you that you are not valuable. But listen here, ma'am, come closer. Come closer to the camera. You are more valuable than you think. And every naysayer that has trampled on you, every naysayer that has spoken wrongly of you, every accusatory voice that has risen up against you, today I silence it. Right? Those voices, you're no longer going to allow them to rob you of your destiny. You're no longer going to allow them to rob you of the rise that was meant for you, because you're not sitting in your seat of authority. You haven't obtained the promotion you should have gotten. You have not entered into the relationship you should be in. You don't have the friends that you should have. You don't have the finances that you should have. You don't have the influence that you should have, because you're remaining silent. But no more. No more. No more. You're no longer going to refuse to be the confident version of you, because in the private place, you're not confident in you. I want you to go stand in a mirror, and I want you to tell yourself that your voice needs to be heard. You are powerful, and you've been positioned for such a time as this. You're positioned in your family for such a time as this. You are positioned in your job for such a time as this. You are positioned in your community for such a time as this. But if you remain silent, you will falter and you will fail. Now, am I saying you should be a loudmouth and go around talking every moment you get? No, a fool talks all the time. But a person who operates in wisdom, they know how to answer. They know what to say, when to say it, and how to say it. And I want you to begin to practice. I want you to begin to be the poised person that you were predetermined to be. I want you to be this woman of excellence, this woman of power. I want you to be who you were designed to be. And that woman opens her mouth. That woman's not afraid to speak. That woman is clear on what to say. But the only time and the only way that you can get clear is in private. And so I'm going to give you a homework assignment. Because when we do homework, we show up more confidently because we've completed the task. We've already done it. My baby came home, and she was out of school on Monday, but she had gotten her work on Tuesday, and she got this packet of work that she had missed in school, and she also brought home a packet of work that she had already completed in school. And my baby has such a wonderful memory. And so she remembered that she had done, when she was going to complete this packet, she was like, I already did this work. So she went to the packet of work that she brought home, and she looked at it. She said, these are the same questions. I'm just going to take what I have over here, because I have all the answers. I have the yeses and I have the nos. I have the correct ones, the ones I did not get correct. So this time I'm going to get everything right, because I'm going to use what I had, right? So what she had in a place of practice, she used for the place of points. Like, she used it in order to get some positive points, because she already did the work. What I'm saying is this: when you do the work privately, you can show up publicly. So when you start having conversations boldly in private, when you start talking to yourself boldly privately, baby girl, You are going to show up more dynamic. You are going to shine like you were meant to shine, and you are going to show up as a woman of purpose. So when you walk in your job, they're going to know, oh, this woman of purpose just walked in and she's about to move us forward in a way we have never been moved forward before. But she's not going to overstep her boundaries. She's not going to micromanage us, but she's going to show up in excellence because that's who she is. She's a woman of excellence because she cultivated that place privately. She cultivated it when nobody was looking. She was intentional about who she was and what she carries. And so I got some homework for you, right? I got some homework for you. So I want you to ask yourself when you stopped believing in you. Yes, I want you to ask yourself, what was the very moment that you stopped believing in you? And here's why that's important. If you know when you stopped believing in you, you can see the action or the activity that took place to make you think that believing in you was no longer worth it. And you can now see that situation from a different lens, and you can receive the healing that you need in order to progress. Because when you start believing in you again, what's going to happen is you're going to apply for higher positions. What's going to happen is you're going to speak up in meetings. What's going to happen is in every relationship, you're going to show up as fully and authentically you. So you're going to show up better in your marriage. You're going to show up better in your friendships. You're going to show up better as a mother. All because you inquired of you when you stopped believing in you. And then for those who believe in Jesus Christ, if you don't believe in him, don't do this part of it. But if you do, there's a second step that I need you to do. I need you to ask the Holy Spirit to heal you. I need you to ask him to walk you through the process of healing. Because when you heal, baby, you're going to show up differently. When you heal, you are going to be the dynamic light that you were meant to be. But until you heal, you're going to fumble the bag every single time. You are going to fumble in your conversations. You are going to fumble in your career every single time because you refused to be healed. For those who don't believe in Jesus Christ, here's what I want you to do. I want you, because you've already asked yourself the question of when you stop believing in you. I want you to make a decision to get somebody who you can talk to about that moment, right? Reach out to a therapist if you don't have a therapist already. And I want you to go through the processing with them in order for you to get the healing that you need. Because when you heal in that area, you are going to show up more authentically. You are going to show up more authentically, okay? You're going to show up as the best version of you. Listen, I know we covered a lot today. We covered a whole lot. We talked about missed opportunities. We talked about lost influence, and we talked about a lack of confidence. These are the 3 costs of you staying silent. But I'm excited because I know you're going to go and you are going to do the homework. Listen, every time you stay silent, you miss out on opportunities. You miss out on being successful. You miss out on being able to cultivate this environment that will carry someone further than they have ever been. But the great news is you don't have to remain silent. You could go back, re-listen to this video. You can send it to somebody that you know who would benefit from it. And you can do the work, right? You can also join a community of leaders who are willing to push forward and to push past the things that were meant to break them. You can join a community of leaders who are willing to spend their time doing the work in order to see the result. Because when you do this little homework assignment, baby, you're going to see it pay dividends in your life. And it's not just going to pay once, because now it's something that you have and you hold with you forever. It's going to show up and multiply your life. And so I'm super excited about what this video is going to do for your life. And I want to hear from you. I want to hear about what resonated the most for you. Talk to me in the comments about whether you can relate to my missed opportunities, whether you can relate to the lost influence, or whether you can relate to the lack of confidence. So go ahead and comment in the comment section. Your engagement matters. And so if I know that these are the kind of videos that are resonating with you, I can make more videos like this so that it resonates with you. And I'm just excited about this new version of you, because you're not leaving this video the same version of yourself that you came into the video. Not possible. Because this content, what you heard today, is transformative. It is life-changing. And you can't hear it and remain the same. And so I'm excited about this new version of you. And if you're excited about the new version of you, I want you to comment version 2.25 in the comment section. Comment version 2.25 in the comment section. And then I also want you to subscribe. If you're ready to shut down the voice of fear, if you're ready to own your voice, and if you're ready to see a new level of success, then this is the community you need. So go ahead, subscribe, like the video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.